అందరికీ స్వాగతం. Welcome to Chiravilodi. Hi, my name is Teja Akella and I am Sarveshwara Sarvagari's first granddaughter. So far, you've heard from many of the friends and families on various topics that my Taatagaru deeply cares about. Today, I'm going to talk about yet another new subject, art. My Taatagaru might have liked a lot of different artists, but the ones that I know of are Van Gogh, Henri Matisse, and Pablo Picasso. Today, I'll specifically talk about Pablo Picasso and about a book my Taatagaru gave me on Picasso that changed my entire outlook on art and probably life itself. For making such a big statement, let me first give you a little bit of background. Ever since I could remember as a child, if there was one thing I liked more than reading, it was art. Every summer, I would go to my grandparents' house, and Taatagaru kept a pile of white paper for me. And in those days, having a lot of nice white paper was a rare commodity. So you can kind of imagine my excitement. So every day, Taatagaru would give me a few pieces of paper, and all day I would be drawing, painting, and scribbling, and just be in art heaven. It was some of the best memories I have. Taatagaru always encouraged this in me. And over the years, I started getting really good at art and finessing the skill set. I started experimenting with various mediums such as pencil, charcoal, oil pastels, acrylics, and oil paints. I also started getting really good at portraits, and I started mastering this skill set of precise drawings and strokes and spacings, and was just really getting good at replicating pictures onto paper. Here's a drawing I did of my grandpa based on an old photo I had of him. For most of this art, I was at that time starting to get a lot of praises and actually prizes as well in my teens for many of these pieces. And to some degree, I was very happy about it. However, deep within me, I started feeling like something was missing. While I was getting really good at this skill, I felt like my art was becoming very technical and maybe mechanical, and I felt like it was not very creative or enjoyable to me for that matter. I didn't really feel like I was discovering or learning anything about myself. And I must have shared something like this to my grandpa at that time. And it is at that time that Taatagaru gave me a book on Picasso. It's called The World of Picasso 1881. A fun fact is that this book that Taatagaru gave me was actually published at the time that Picasso was still alive, maybe a couple of years before he died. So I have this precious book, and I must admit, before I read this book, I didn't think very much of the care for contemporary or modern art. I didn't really have an eye for it, and I thought I just didn't like it or care for it. And in hindsight, I probably didn't even understand the meaning of art itself. However, for the first time after reading this book, I learned a great deal about Picasso and the process of art and how an artist evolves. And the transformation in Picasso's art over the years in his quest to capture the essence of art and what was compelling to him. I won't really bore you with the technical details about how Picasso arrived at Cubism and such, but I will leave you with this. Picasso was not so interested in replicating or reflecting reality. He cared more about the experience of art and how it transformed in time, space, and life. So is it any wonder Taatagaru likes Picasso? Taatagaru is one person that I know who's always been ahead of his times. He's always dared to be different and he did not care about conforming to the norms of the society. This is exactly how Picasso was like. Picasso didn't care to fit into a box. He didn't care about staying true to what was in place in terms of art, and he was willing to challenge the status quo. He completely changed the course of art, and he pushed us into modern era of art. I really thank Taatagaru for giving me this book at the precise time that I needed it. I don't know how he does it, but he has this uncanny ability to always give people what they need at the right time. After this book, I had a newfound appreciation for Picasso and his style. Not only that, it also helped me tap into myself and allow myself to enjoy the experience and process of art rather than trying to conform to any expectations. This is not just for art, but for life itself. So thank you, Taatagaru, for opening up my world. Here's a more recent painting I did that I absolutely love and enjoyed the process of making. Thank you.